that is going to win the CrossFit Games. It is time to talk about team quarterfinals, and I found quarterfinals for the teams pretty interesting because I think we did learn some things. So in years past, going into the team competition, whether that be in the regionals format, semifinals format, having quarterfinals, for many years we've sort of known who the top dog was. Like, pretty certainly. We had Mayhem out there beating everyone for a very, very long time, except for that one year that they were beat by Wasatch CrossFit. But other than that, there was a string of years from 2015 until 2022 where CrossFit Mayhem Freedom just pretty much dominated the top of everything. And it was like, is Mayhem going to win every single event? And that was the question. This year, there's a new top dog, and now we're gonna ask the same question. Are they going to win every single event? So I'm gonna go out and say it. I'm pretty positive. You know what? I'm just gonna say it definitively. Not that I actually know this, but I'm gonna say it definitively for myself, just putting it out there, that Peak 360 is going to win the CrossFit Games. We have a new top team, and they're gonna win the games. We know that. We pretty much know that already, at least based on how they've looked so far. So that team is sort of a super team. We have a bunch of really great individual athletes, except for Tola. Tola has been primarily a team athlete and has jumped around from team to team trying to chase this top of the podium. He even partnered up with Annie Thorsdottir there 2 years ago, and that didn't go as well as they had hoped. They sort of had an injury going into the games. If you remember that, Lauren Fisher was on that team as well. She had an injury going into the games, and the team underperformed what was expected of them to challenge Mayhem in their final year. Mayhem Freedom, Rich Froning's final year. Didn't happen. But Noah Olson's team this year, they can take that win away from CrossFit Invictus, who won the games in 2023. So that team, again, is Noah Olson's team. So he is the captain and already has predicted they're going to win a whole lot.
Would love to continue taking first place in every stage just as confidence booster, reassurance.
And then there's Tola Moricchino, I don't know how to pronounce that, and Lena Richter and Matilda Garnes, I think, Garnes. She said in one of the videos that there's multiple ways to pronounce that. So we're just gonna go with, hopefully you know who I'm talking about. And I'll put up pictures so that if you don't, these are the people that I am talking about. This team, it's going to be hard for anyone to compete with them. Taking a look at the leaderboard, they won 2 of the 4 workouts. And then they have a second and a third place. And that is not in their region. That is worldwide. A first, a third, a first, and a second. Their biggest hole is a third place position worldwide. They had 7 points, and CrossFit Invictus, who is in second, had 23. That is a fairly big discrepancy. And to be honest, some of these top teams really set themselves apart from the rest of the field. So we have Peak 360 CrossFit with 7 points. CrossFit Invictus, the main Invictus team, the one that won last year, sort of. That one has 23 points. Then AR1 CrossFit Mayhem Unity, that is a South American team. They have 35 points. That is not a Mayhem team out of CrossFit Mayhem. They are a team that does Mayhem programming, is affiliated with Mayhem, but they don't work out in Cookeville, at least not primarily. But then after that, we got 2 teams tied at 81 points, 83, 85, 86, 93, 93. So after that, the points get a lot closer. But those top 3 teams, they've created some distance between them and the rest of the field. And none of the 3 of them are competing in the same semifinal. So those are probably the people to watch out for in their respective semifinals. So let's move on to CrossFit Invictus, because we can sing Peak 360's praises all day, incredibly impressive, but we have to talk about other people too, at least right now, when these other people still have a chance of doing something big at the games. And let me also just point out though, Peak 360 does have one thing working against them. They don't have the experience as a team together, those individuals, as Invictus does. And I know Invictus has new people on their team this year, but a lot of those athletes work out together in San Diego frequently for multiple years now, where Peak 360, those athletes just came together at the beginning of this year. So they do have a lot less experience working out together, but they're also like really elite. Two of the team members, Noah and Lena, have stood on the podium, one as a team, one as an individual. These are just seriously very, very fit individuals, and two of the athletes, Matilda and Noah, have recently competed as individuals, and most of the time we see individuals being a little bit more well-rounded than team athletes in general. And Tola just has so much team experience. So even though they haven't worked out together as a team a whole ton, like in a competitive setting, they've worked out together. They're now all training at Peak 360, but in an actual competition, they really haven't. I do think that they have the ability to work together well. We just haven't seen it yet, and that's their biggest question mark as of right now. But on to Invictus. So Invictus finished second, which is great. I believe they had some illness going through their team, so they had a little bit of a delayed start doing the workouts, but they did have a couple of days to do them, so that worked out well for them. And they had a last-minute team change. So Devin Kim was supposed to be one of their women returning from last year. She now is no longer on that team. She has a back injury that they're just still pretty concerned about and not sure how it will work season long. So they moved her to the alternate. And now Jessie Smith, Chandler Smith's wife, is going to be competing in her place as their second female. So something to watch out for. But Jessie Smith was at the games last year. I believe she was on Invictus's Unconquerable team because they had multiple teams at the games. So only one was CrossFit Invictus. There were a couple others. She was on CrossFit Invictus Inconquerable. Unconquerable? She was on that team. So she does have games experience. I think the team still has a ton of potential. And I think based on what we've seen here in quarterfinals, it shows. AR1 CrossFit Mayhem Unity, definitely a team to keep our eyes on. That Unconquerable team, no longer with Jessie Smith. That was very loud. That CrossFit Invictus Unconquerable team is back with some different members. They are in the top 6. Then 7th, not where this team usually is CrossFit Mayhem. Now, it doesn't have any name attached to it like Freedom and some of the other ones we've had, the variations we've had over the years. Freedom ended with Rich Froning. That was the end of that. This is just CrossFit Mayhem, period. End of that sentence, just CrossFit Mayhem. Let's take a look at the team members on that team. So there's some different names, but most of them I think have experience with the Mayhem Empire, if we can call it that. So Angelo DeChico, he was a teen athlete, then he's been on multiple CrossFit Mayhem teams in the past. He is back, the captain, leading this team. Then we have Molly McGrady, Sam Demeester, and Zoe Jones. I believe a lot of them have competed on Mayhem teams in the past, just not the main one, but it looks like this year, those athletes are moving up to the main team. I don't think this is the Mayhem of Mayhem pasts. So top 10 might be where we see them. Now, we've talked about the quarterfinals workouts being a little bit different than we've seen in the past, a little bit more accessible. We've said that word so much, I almost don't like it anymore. It sort of now has a negative connotation to me, but because it's more accessible, we could see some variations in the top 10, some of these teams that we expected a little bit more from. Maybe when we actually see the workouts that we're going to have at semis, at the games, these teams will be able to show why in the past they've been teams we're keeping our eyes on. I still think Peak 360 CrossFit showed us that even though the workouts are not super heavy, super technical, the best will separate themselves. It doesn't matter. The best just do that. That's my thought. I know people are complaining about the Open being different and quarterfinals being different, but I still have this belief that the best are going to separate themselves. And until I'm proved otherwise, which might happen, someone might get left out because these workouts are more accessible. But until that happens, I'm gonna believe that the best are going to rise to the top. And then one other major bit of news to come out of quarterfinals is a couple teams were disqualified. So this year, it appears so far, 4 teams have been disqualified for not having all of their members do all 3 workouts at the affiliate the team is affiliated with. So those teams are CrossFit CLT, the Grit House, CrossFit ADM Chambly, CrossFit Kilo 2, and CrossFit Salvation. I get wanting to have all the team members do all the workouts at the affiliate. It's supposed to be the affiliate cup. But I also think with the Open being over 3 weeks and having absolutely nothing to do with your teammate, like you don't have to do any of the part of the workout with your teammates, I don't know if it really should be that significant, in my opinion, that these athletes didn't do them at the affiliate. As long as they can prove that they are standing members of the affiliate and that they work out the majority of the time at the affiliate, which I believe used to be a rule. You just have to be able to prove that you had residency near the area and that you do a certain number of workouts a week at that affiliate. Not necessarily that you had to do the Open at the affiliate, because life things do get in the way. And one of these teams is a great example of that. So on CrossFit CLT, the Grit House, one of the team members, Josh Harden, this is from the Barbell Spin, by the way, that's where I'm getting this information. Go over there, check out their website, check out their YouTube channel. Brian's Spin is great. But one of their members, Josh Harden, he did the workout at the affiliate, then wanted to do better, so he redid it at the firehouse that he works at. He's a firefighter. Firefighters work long shifts and can't just take a break from the firehouse and go do it at the affiliate. But they do have downtime. I'm a reporter in local news. I work with a lot of firefighters. They do have downtime. They have time to get workouts in, but they can't leave the firehouse in case there's an emergency. So he did 24.1, redid it at the firehouse, submitted that score because it was slightly better. I don't even know if it was worth it. I think it was only like seconds better. It was worth it, I'm sure, in the moment in his mind to improve, but with this being the result, probably doesn't feel worth it anymore. But he redid it, submitted the video because he wasn't at an affiliate. And because CrossFit saw the video was not at the affiliate, they are disqualified. I don't love this. I do understand if CrossFit sets a rule, they have to uphold that rule, because if they don't, then everyone's going to abuse it. I hope what CrossFit can learn from this is that maybe this rule needs to be adjusted a little bit for the Open in the future. What can we do about it now? I don't think much, because you'd have to allow all the teams that had this issue to compete at semis. And I don't know if CrossFit wants to look at all of these situations and make that decision. They could, but they would have to do that for every single team. They can't be like, this guy's a firefighter, so he gets a slide. Rules are rules. Dave Castro, who's now, again, a big part of the CrossFit game, is very big into rules. So I just think they either have to change it for everyone, change it for no one. I think the easiest and most likely scenario at this point is change it for no one for this year, and then hopefully change it next year to allow for situations like this, because I think that certain things like this, like first responders who are a big group of people who do CrossFit, they can't always get to the gym for the Open workout because they have these crazy shifts that are sometimes 24, 48 hours long. And like, what do you, like, it sucks to be like, can't do the open because of the shift. It's a lot to take off the whole 3 weeks for the open. It's different to take off to do team quarterfinals with your team. So I just think that they have to look at that for the future. I think it's difficult to change this year, but it sucks. Sucks for those teams. But what doesn't suck, and what team doesn't suck, is Peak 360 CrossFit. All right, my mic died. So if you made it this far into the video, you hung around longer than my mic decided to hang around. All you missed was me saying that I appreciate you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done that yet. And this is me and Carson just doing our hugs and cuddles at the end of the video like we do, so that he could say hi to all of you. And also, thank you guys for watching and hanging around and subscribing. See you in the next one.